Welcome to Virtual GP by Teleios Dome. Let's dive into the structure of the competition. It's divided into two main phases qualifying in the race. All of you will be split in equally or almost equally qualifying groups where you will have to push to the limit to get the best time possible. Now let's talk about how to get inside the simulator. Go on the right side and put your left hand on the seat and put your left leg inside the simulator. Then, just slide inside. Remember to put your thumbs inside the steering wheel and do not remove your hands while steering. To put the reverse gear, even if you are driving in automatic, press and release the left paddle until you see the R in the gear indicator. To put again the first gear, press 2 times the right paddle. Now about the pedals. On the right you have the throttle, while on the left there is the brake. The brake pedal is relying on a pressure sensor, so it doesn't move and it's quite hard. You can see how much you are pressing the pedals on the bottom right of the middle screen. Regarding the steering wheel, pit button, press it to go from the pit menu to the track once the sessions have started. Traction control switch, rotate to activate and deactivate the traction control. ABS switch, rotate to activate and deactivate the ABS. Brake bias encoder, rotate it to change the brake bias. Plus button to change between manual and automatic gear shift. Minus button to activate and deactivate the ideal line on the track. DRS button to activate and deactivate DRS. Regarding the behavior while you are driving, a race director is monitoring every time the sessions. In case of infraction of the rules, the race director will assign penalties, inspect opponents, and avoid contacts. Hitting an opponent will imply a time increment at the end of the race. That may lead to a position change. Push to the limit, but don't ruin your own and others' race. During qualify, if you go out of track, the lap will be invalidated and it will not be counted. During the race, if you go out of track, you will receive a penalty that has to be cleared before the end of the lap. It can be a slowdown period, where you will have to not press the throttle pedal, or a slowdown under a specific speed. The amount of time increment is the sole decision of the race director. Here are some general suggestions on how to approach the driving. Stay focused, anticipate your opponent's moves, and maintain a balance between aggression and caution. Remember that no race was won on the first turn, but many races were lost on the first turn.
Okay, so qualifying is underway. Welcome everybody back to the Teleios Dome for round... Well, I forget every week which round is it now. I think we're round 10 of the Virtual Grand Prix season. Round 10 in Formula 1 for the Canadian Grand Prix. That's where we're at today, around Montreal. The semi-street circuit of Canada, a very fast and flowing circuit all the way around. 13 drivers on the grid in one group today, so there'll be plenty of traffic to contend with. And this is where we'll see the smarter drivers come out on top, where they choose their battles wisely, especially if they're catching up to a back marker. Now it's Arthur Tadonka who takes first honours, just away from Essa Al-Hamadi. There's 12 minutes left of the qualifying session, so plenty of time to get a lap in. It's just finding the space to do so with 13 cars out there. We're going to see Leonard Faddy cross the line into P4. Side by side with Hamza Zaid. They cross the line. It's the McLaren on top, followed by the three Ferraris of Emil up in P2, Essa P3, Leonard Faddy P4, Hamza P5, and the kick Sauber of Andre in P6, with Leandro, Michael, Ivan, JB, Khalifa, Ahmed and Edward rounding off the field. I think Leonard Faddy is on a flying lap at the moment. He looks like he's 1 second up on his previous time, so this could be good enough for pole position at the moment as he comes down into the final chicane, bounces over the curves. It's going to be close looking at the delta. 112.1 maybe is going to put him in P2, nearly at the top of the times. Uses plenty of steering lock in these first couple of corners. Gets a good exit. Oh, spins as he hits the wall. Hits the wheel in frustration. Okay, so 9 minutes remaining. We see Essa Al-Hamadi go back up into P3. Very close between Essa and Emil Nasser there in the top four. I think Hamza is about to beat his personal best, but he takes a slow entry into the final chicane. It's P5 at the moment. Can he get closer to the top four? He can, a 116.4. Closes in by 0.8 of a second. And as I mentioned before, the difficulty in qualifying is always finding space for a clean lap. You never know when is going to be your final attempt at a fast lap on a busy qualifying, as is the way of motorsport here around the Montreal circuit. Seeing Ahmed in the Alpine on the screen. He's currently in P10. As Leonard Faddy finds 4/10 nearly in the first sector alone. 6/10 even. He's had a cracking first sector. Is he going to be able to complete the lap? Gets a bit of understeer through sector 2. Loses 3/10 of a second. Now it's back down to a predicted 11.9, 112.0. Half the lap to go, but it very much could still be a pole lap here for Leonard Faddy as he loses a little bit of time through sector 2. He's now 1/10 down on his best, but can he get a mighty exit out of the hairpin down towards the final chicane? It's all going to be in that last braking zone now to try and knock Arthur Dodonka off the top spot. He's 3/10 down at the moment. He's got to find 4/10 in the final chicane. Leonard Faddy down into the braking zone, cuts the entry, bounces over the curb, hits the wall. I forgot to mention to the drivers on the microphone, actually, the walls are very dangerous here. If your rear wheel hits them at a certain angle, you will flip upside down or around the wrong way. I did it many times on my couple laps in practice. Less than a second between your top 4 now. 7 minutes remaining on the timing screens. And once again, sector 1 very strong for Leonard. And he's kept it now through sector 2 now. So he's got one chicane, a hairpin, and another chicane to go. Still 6/10 up. It's an 11.5 predicted as he bounces over the curb. Gets it through nicely. Down towards the hairpin he goes. Hard on the brakes. And there's going to be a car in front of him on this main straight. But I think he's far enough ahead, actually, that it won't affect his lap. Maybe it's Leandro C just in front of him. He's going to get a tow as well down the straight. Leonard Faddy 7/10 up with 1 corner to go. Is the car in front of him going to block this mighty lap? Bounces over the curves. He's got plenty of space. He's going to do it. It's 11.5 predicted. Leonard Faddy then crosses the line and gets the 11.5 and takes the pole away from Arthur Dodonka with 6 minutes remaining. That's the pressure off now for Leonard. He no longer has to stress about finding extra space unless Arthur Dodonka can find another 4/10 of a second. We see Michael S on the screen go for one of those somersaults that I mentioned earlier. So just 5 minutes remain of quali. You see Ahmed bouncing over the final chicane there. Looks like it has to be done on the sausage curb on the inside. And Arta Dodonka has found what happens when you hit the wall too hard as he falls through the floor. With only 3 minutes remaining. Faddy 2/10 up again in sector 1. The car right behind him. Gets it turned in nicely. Uses plenty of curb through that first chicane and a little bit of grass. Looked tidy through that next chicane, but lost 2/10 there on the exit. Oh, that was very close to track limits and loses the last 10th that he had. Gives up on this lap. Trying to give himself some more space for one last attempt of a flying lap. As Hamza improves yet again. It comes across multiple drivers. Third one. And 40 seconds remains then. It's very close between Andre and Ivan in the two kick salvas as well, in 8th and 9th. JB and Michael S. also very close in the McLaren and the Ferrari. And then Ahmed and Edward with a bit of time to find. Okay, so qualifying comes to a close, very close at the top. 0.3 of a second between Leo and Arta. Essa and Emil separated by only 0.1 of a second. Leandro improves in P5. Hamza a little bit ahead of Andre. And look at Andre, Khalifa and Ivan in 7th, 8th and 9th, very close together as well. And then JB and Michael, and then Ahmed and Edward rounding off the field. So we'll go to a short break now whilst we sort out the grid, and then we'll be heading through to the one race today. Okay guys, let's get the names back up on the screen. And we'll head through to the race today. There we go. Leo, Arthur, Essa, Emil, Leandro, Hamza, Andre, Khalifa, Ivan, JB, Michael, Ahmed and Edward is today's qualifying order. Remember, just the one race today, but it's 16 laps. Avoid those walls, otherwise you might end up upside down or in the pit lane. We saw it happen to a couple of people in qualifying. Okay, so all the drivers are on their 3-minute warm-up just to make sure their new sims are to their liking. I think some people are in the same sim as before, but that's okay. All depends on qualifying order. That's how the magic works. Whatever position you qualified, for example, first place, you'll be in Sim 1. Okay, so the practice comes to a close, and now we'll be heading to the grid shortly. Keeping an eye on the race start and corner cuts throughout today's race. Okay. As we wait for the big screen to come on, everybody's in their cars, ready to go. 13 drivers for round 10, the Canadian Grand Prix. Leonard Faddy on pole position, lines up alongside Arthur Dodonka in the McLaren, and then Essa and Emil will be challenging them both down in towards turn 1 for the race start. Here we go then, waiting for the lights. 3, 4, 5, 6 lights are on. Out and away they go. It's a good start for Leo then, who won't come under pressure from Dodonka, but Dodonka might come under pressure from Essa Al-Hamadi, who's under pressure from Emil Nasser. Oh, the Red Bull nearly touches, but he goes across the grass, and there's contact, and all 3 of the top drivers around. That'll definitely be a penalty for the Ferrari that went across the straight. I think it was Essa Al-Hamadi who tagged Leo there. But now Emil Nasser and Hamza go through then. So Leo is round, your championship leader, trying to fight his way back, but we've seen him come back through the field very often throughout this season, and now he's going to have another really strong comeback drive as he's now down in 11th, but he's got to be careful of all the drivers on his way back up. But it's Emil Nasser then leading the way, and Hamza Zaid in second place, with Andre and Leandro in third and fourth. The cars will update at the end of the first lap, but there's 16 laps for Leonard Faddy to get back up. He's already back up in P10 according to the timing screens. He's got Essa Al-Hamadi and Arthur Dodonka just up the road ahead of him. So in P11, down towards the hairpin, Leonard Faddy hard on the brakes. He will be coming back. He's going to have vengeance in his eyes as 16 laps begins. And Emil Nasser sets the fastest lap and leads the way then from Hamza Zaid in first place. Edward Kay in the wall. And Arthur Dodonka moves up into P7. Leonard Faddy P9, ahead of Essa Al-Hamadi already. And now he's got a few more drivers to pick off as Ahmed in the Alpine ends up in the wall. And now Arthur's back up into P4 already then. So it won't take, based on Arthur's progress, it shouldn't take Leonard too much time to get back up to the top. As I was wondering what was going on with the timing screen. Oh, look, there it is, a replay of Essa Al-Hamadi collecting your 2 leaders there, the McLaren of Arthur, and the Ferrari of Leo, as they all try and get back facing the right way. There's a Red Bull and another Ferrari involved trying to face the right direction, and it's all a mess at the start for the turn 1 fiasco. As I keep seeing Andre shoot up to the top of the times. I think it's because he's in the pits. That's why. So then he drops back down, but it is still Emil leading as he does a 1:14.1. Hamza Zaid in P2 tries to close in. Closes in quite a lot. He's got Leandro behind him, but Essa is now chasing down Leonard Faddy in P7 as they bounce over the curb. Need to be careful of that wall on the exit. Leo took a lot of curb there. We're watching for track limits of your leaders as Essa is trying to hold on to him. And he is, if you remember last time out in Spain, Essa Al-Hamadi was right on the pace of Leonard Faddy in the lead of the race, and now they're in 7th and 8th, both going to try and come back through for the field. They've got Edward EK up the road. They should easily be able to get past Edward as Leonard goes through the chicane down towards the hairpin. He's chasing him down, and what can Edward do? Is he going to defend? Leo moves to the inside, nice and easy on the brakes, and I think that move's going to be easily done as they're side by side, and Essa Al-Hamadi hits him again. Leo's round, that's going to make his day more difficult, but there's plenty of laps left. That'll be a second penalty for the young driver who's been clean for most of the season. It's definitely not the usual scenes that we see, as we see Leandro pass Hamza Zaid there into turn 1 for P2 in the Ferrari. Leandro having a great race so far, and Emil Nasser, let's not forget him, 6 seconds in the lead at the moment, as now Hamza tries to hold on, but Artur Dodonka is chasing and climbing up as we are 25% of the way through this race. And Leonard Faddy definitely has enough time to still get back up the order. He's got to close 7 seconds to catch up back up to Edward, and Essa did indeed wait for Leo. As we see one of the kick Saubers go into the wall and the hair. And here's a replay of the hairpin then. Watch Essa just accelerate out of the corner. A misjudgment on the acceleration as Leo had a tighter line, so was slower on the exit, as he was entitled to be so. We see Dodonka then set the fastest lap. Khalifa in the wall after trying to take too much track limits there. But let's look at Artur Dodonka. This is a replay of Leandro making a move on Hamza, and now Artur Dodonka fighting the Red Bull. Couldn't quite pull off the move there as they now go down towards the next chicane. Oh, that is track limits. He'll have to give that back. Let's see if Artur does it by himself, or will he have to be told? I think he has done so. But he didn't quite fully give it back before he exited the hairpin. It was a great switch back there from Dodonka, and I think Hamza still has DRS as he goes down towards turn 1. A good little fight from the Red Bull and the McLaren. And in the meantime, we have seen Leonard Faddy and Essa pass Edward K, as Essa sets the fastest lap of the race so far, as he tries to close in on Faddy up the road. 6 seconds separates Artur Dodonka from Emil Nasser. And Artur is round for some reason. Didn't see what happened. We might see a replay, but he needs to focus forward. He can indeed continue and get back. It's not over. I don't know if that was Hamza and Artur there making contact through that chicane. But Hamza is the one that's back up in P3, and Artur's already down to within 4 seconds of the driver, but they need to focus forward as Leonard Faddy goes down the inside of Ivan P. Nice and easily done into turn 1 and 2. Moves up into P5. The Ferrari driver. Up next will be Essa Al-Hamadi. as we approach the halfway phase of this race. Emil Nasser still leads the way after turn 1. Leo Faddy taking a very strong line over that final chicane. Absolutely bouncing over those curves. He's putting a lot of trust in the game through there as Artur Dodonka tries to get past one of the back markers and does so. Still yet to see how Artur Dodonka ended up facing the wrong way just then, a couple laps ago. But it's at phases of the season like this where it gets very important in terms of decision-making process. He needs to focus on who his fight is with. The championship leader, the one person ahead of Artur in the championship, is currently behind him. So does he try and extend his points lead? And that is Khalifa going straight across the chicane there to pass one of the Ferraris. And now look at Artur back on the back of Hamza Zaid in P3. Meanwhile, Leonard is closing in on both of them. Nice, smart and clean driving from the McLaren and the Red Bull so far. Down towards the hairpin. Later on the brakes is Dodonka, gets the inside line. Hamza tries to hold around the outside and they exit down the back straight. Who's going to get DRS? It is Dodonka was behind during the DRS zone, so he should be able to pull away a little bit now. And up next is Leonard Faddy in P5, who's closing in on the both of them. Leo is just so tidy through Sector 1 as he now closes in on Hamza Zaid. Then Sector 2 is where it gets a little bit messy sometimes. There's yellow flags out in Sector 2 as we see some cars facing the wrong way. Hamza and Leo make it through cleanly, so no issues from then. One of them was the Alpine of Ahmed for sure. As they go into the next corner, and look how much later Leo is on the brakes. He's now right behind the Red Bull as they go down towards the hairpin, and I think he's going to leave the inside line open, but Hamza later on the brakes gets it deep, but he's going to get a better exit as a result, I think, because Leo takes the shallower line. Maybe a little bit of a DRS game there between the two drivers, but Leo did in fact get the DRS. He was behind at the detection point, but is he going to make a dive down the chicane without cutting it? He's going to have to go to the outside. He goes around the outside then, but he cuts the chicane. They both go across, and he is going to give the position back by the looks of it. And he's going to try again, as he couldn't quite make the corner. Hamza gets DRS, but he's still close enough to try and take this back. So he has not got himself a penalty after giving it back. He gets the switch back and he gets the position. And he moves up into third place then. Leonard Faddy down towards the next corner. And Hamza Zaid back down to P4. I think we've had an issue for Leandro in all of that. He must have been one of those Ferraris facing the wrong way, because Artur Dodonka is now P2 and Leonard Faddy in P3, whilst Emil Nasser still leads the way then by approximately 12 seconds with 5 laps remaining. Could this be Emil Nasser's day? I don't want to jinx it, but he could be on for his first A final victory here, depending on the two behind. How quick can they catch up to your current race leader, who has led this race since after turn 2 till lap 11 so far? Essa Al-Hamadi here closing in on Leandro. Arta Dodonka enters the final chicane with Fadi closing in. 5 seconds, the gap between the two. Essa Al Hamadi down the inside into the final corner. Great move from the young driver. Unfortunate for the penalties earlier. He couldn't, it was Leandro actually getting it back, so Essa's still behind. So a great move from Leandro. I was going to say Essa has a couple of penalties from earlier on in the race hovering over him, but it doesn't mean he's not entitled to fight for the rest of the day and try and earn as much time as he can on circuit. As we see Leo Fadi up 4/10 on his best lap as he tries to close in on Arta Dodonka, who tries closing in on Emil Nasser. Oh, Essa late on the brakes. It's a good little fight between Leandro and Essa, but they're both actually catching up. Hamza just in front. Hamza in P4 is right in front of the Ferraris as we see Arthur and Leo trying to be as consistent as possible, but look at Essa Al Hamadi with the DRS open down towards turn 1, and Leandro, sorry, not turn 1, the final chicane again later on the brakes as Leonard Fadi sets the fastest lap at 12.1, trying to close in on Dodonka. And Essa Al Hamadi and Leandro continue into turn 1. But Leandro has the inside line, and Essa Al Hamadi gets the switch back, gets a good exit out of the corner, makes it down to the next chicane, brakes nice and late, gets it turned in, and he gains P5 from Leandro. But I don't think that race is over as we see the Alpine in front. Oh, nearly as the blue flags come through, cuts across the grass. I think Leandro's going to get the switch back on Hamadi. Down towards the next corner. Essa defends to the inside. Oh, now he's going to go down. Is he going to be later on the brakes? No. Essa Al Hamadi holds on to it, just keeps the wheel on that orange curb, as I believe Leo and Arta Dodonka are fighting. Oh no, Emil Nasser's dropped to P3. So now they're fighting for the lead. What's happened to Emil? He was leading the whole way with 3 laps to go. He's got Arta up on the wall and around. And now Leo leads the way. Emil back up into P2. And Leonard Fadi then takes the lead in all of that. But what happened to Emil initially to drop him down to P3? Did he get caught up with someone towards the back? As we see Essa now trying to get P4 from Hamza. 2 laps remaining, lap 14 of 16. 3-car fight for P4. Leandro, Essa, Hamza, all entering this corner, bumper to bumper, front wing to front wing, or rear wing I should say. As they exit the corner, Essa's going to have DRS, he's going to have to try and do the overtake round the outside into the next right-hander. Can he brake later than Hamza? Oh, they're all going to go across the corner. We'll have to give that one back, even though I think only to Leandro, to be honest, since both him and Hamza went off the track, but Leandro goes deep, so that's ruined his chance of getting the position back, but he's going to get the switch back on Hamza. These guys just fighting it out. And now Hamza within 0.1 of Leandro. And Leonard Fadi comes up behind the Ferrari and he's round. There's a back marker in front of Leo and he's facing the wrong way. The championship leader, Emil, back up into the lead on lap 15 of 16. As Arta goes through as well. And it's another shake-up at the top with just 2 laps remaining. Emil Nasser back up into first place, 2 seconds ahead of Arta Dodonka. Leonard Fadi right behind the McLaren driver. We thought it was all over after having led the race for most of the way, and he's back up to 2 seconds in the lead ahead of the McLaren driver. We're on board with Leonard Fadi just behind his championship rival in the McLaren. Down towards the hairpin they go, so this will be a DRS zone. Oh no, I think that's Emil up on the road, who's just been hit by one of the kick salvers, and the McLaren's in the wall and Leonard Fadi comes through. I think he's in the lead. And now Emil is going to be chasing down I think this is Emil and one of the backmarker Ferraris, or is it Esther Al-Hamadi, I think, side by side, down towards the final chicane. Emil trying to hold on to the podium. Into the corner they go, nice and cleanly. And Emil Nasser tries to hold on to P3. He's got the inside line for turn 2. It's a great move from Emil there to hold on to the podium. This is the final lap as Essa tries to catch him back up into the next corner. Essa Al-Hamadi, it's a smooth exit. Or down towards the inside. Emil Nasser late on the brakes, gets it turned in, keeps it on the track. Essa Al-Hamadi has to pick a side, but so does Emil. He has to pick a side to defend. Essa goes to the left, hard on the brakes, down towards the hairpin. And he's going to get a better exit as Emil goes deep, and he's going to get DRS, but we do know that Essa's got a couple of penalties from earlier in the race for sure. But what about the rest of the top 3, as we are going to have a quick flick through those after this race, as Essa takes the lead, or the 3rd place on the final lap. Oh, Emil nearly late on the brakes, gets it turned in. He's going to finish right behind him anyway, and it's Leonard Faddy who takes victory, with Arta Dodonka in 2nd, Essa Al-Hamadi in 3rd, and Emil Nasser currently in 4th, with Leandro in 5th. But we'll be right back with you to work out what happened with your top 4 and see if there's any changes. 2, 1, 2. There we go, thank you. Right, oh, I'm being directed. I've got to stand on the X down here. Okay, let's start. You can come this side. Wasim likes to pick my bad side for the camera. So we're welcoming Emil up to the interviews. Congratulations, Emil. I know it's a tough day, and I know it's going to be hard to sum up the feelings, but you led most of today's race. But after some penalties, you have collected third. Give us a brief summary of today.
It was stressful. And very emotional race. Many ups and some downs. But, I mean, I'm happy. My first podium, I'll take it. We'll get the race soon, hopefully. And, yeah, I mean, that's what happens in racing. I'll take it.
I think I speak for everyone in the audience today when I say congratulations on the podium, and it's just around the corner. Well done, Emil. Thank you. Arta, up you come. Arta Dodonka, second place in the McLaren. I think you also led at one point, is that correct? Congratulations. So tell us about your frustrations. I think all the way from race control I could hear your anger at times in 2 points in the race. Tell us how it was.
Yeah, it was good. Just before I start, well done to Emil. He deserves the win. Since the beginning, leading 14 laps is like crazy. 14 seconds. It's like he was like, if he didn't get hit enough, he'd win. So congratulations to him. Yeah, I was leading a bit, and then got taken out by a Red Bull backmarker, which wasn't great. And managed to keep P2, which was a really good result.
That's it, kept it clean. Congratulations, Arta, on second place. And let's welcome up championship leader, Leo Faddy. Here he is, Ferrari, we're matching today. So, backwards on the first lap, down into P11, I believe, and then another fight back, as regular this season, a fight back up. Tell us from your point of view how the race.
Well, obviously, I want to first dedicate this win to Men's Mental Health Month. It's a very serious thing for me. And regardless of the race, yeah, lap 1 was horrible. It fell down to almost last. And I'm glad to just fight my whole way through a very messy race, and I got the win.
Congratulations once again, Leo. We'll see you on the podium shortly. Okay. I think we can come straight over to this bit today with no B final. We can go straight to the A final trophies and the hats picked out by little Miss Jane. It's okay, we're only live on YouTube, don't worry about it. Okay, in third place, coming up to the podium, give them a huge round of applause. Oh, there's a fastest lap. Wait, hang on, I don't even know who got the fastest lap. Go to the next slide. Who got the fastest lap? I think it's Leo with a 1:12.1. Give him a round of applause. And then in third place, welcome him up to the podium in the A final, Emil Nasser. In second place, a round of applause for Arta Dodonka. And your winner for today, a round of applause for Leonard Faddy. And there's your top three. And Leonard extends his trophy out to Emil Nasser and swaps places. They're all swapping around. Emil, go on, stand on the top step. And there is your sportsmanship top three. Give them another round of applause, guys, for round 10 of the Virtual Grand Prix. Montreal, we will see you. I don't think it's next week, it's 2 weeks' time for Austria, and then to Silverstone. So we'll see you soon. Thank you guys, well done.